And here to talk all about a solution. As we say, our main theme on this radio show is always refuse to be a victim. We welcome Vice President of Security Equipment Company, Saber Red, as we speak with David Nance. Good afternoon, David. How are you?
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Doing great, and I want to thank you so much for spending time today because I find what you're about to tell us to be so important because so many people, David, may think all we talk about here is guns and gun rights, and even though that's a very integral part of what we talk about in the Bill of Rights with the Second Amendment, give us your perspective. Not everybody out there really, in all honesty, may be capable of having the responsibility or tending to the responsibility of a firearm, but your personal protection is so important. So take it away about what you do with Security Equipment Corporation and Saber Red.
Appreciate that. So we're a family business my father founded in 1975. Our slogan is Making Grown Men Cry since 1975. Been around for over 35 years. And we have a couple different divisions in our company. We have our law enforcement division, which in the state of Arizona is quite strong. It's the product. Saber Red is the brand of OC pepper spray used by the Phoenix Police Department, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department, Arizona Department of Public Safety, and Arizona Department of Corrections. So a lot of the major law enforcement agencies in Arizona equip their officers with the Saber Red product. Then we have our personal safety division, which takes care of individuals that want to equip themselves with a less lethal form of personal safety. And then we have our outdoor division, which protects outdoor enthusiasts with our bear attack deterrent sprays.
That's very interesting, and the product line is phenomenal. And I want to make mention, too, ladies and gentlemen, that all throughout this interview, and, of course, you can go to the Call to Rights website, calltorights.com. But speaking about this particular product line and getting into an understanding of the necessity for this in our world today, our very special guest of this segment is the Vice President of this company, Security Equipment Company, Saber Red, David Nance. The website, ladies and gentlemen, if you're so enamored to go there right now, www.saberred.com. And, David, it's great to have you here because let's jump on that topic. Not everybody out there probably has the skill set to carry a firearm. Give us, from your perspective, the importance of carrying this type of product, no matter whether you're a female out jogging, a man working, a woman riding or driving in a car with her family. Go on with some of the justification for the less lethal side of the world.
I think there's a couple of things, 3 main points when it comes to personal safety sprays, the Saber product. One, it allows you to protect yourself at a safe distance. Even our smallest keychain sprays deploy up to 10 feet. And then, of course, we make some larger sizes with a range of up to 35 feet. So you don't have to go hands-on. Why go hands-on when you can diffuse a situation from a distance? Big advantage of the Saber pepper spray. Second, it allows you to incapacitate multiple threats at the same time if need be. You just simply spray the closest threat first, move on to the next person. Just simply deploying that canister, moving it side to side, allows you to protect yourself against more than one threat. And lastly, simply carrying that product keeps you alert and aware of your surroundings, which basically makes you less of a soft target, more of a hard target, which may in and of itself discourage a threat. But, one thing I also want to say, Steve, is we don't just target people that are fearful of firearms. There are a lot of people that are, but we actually have a line of NRA pepper sprays that support the NRA's training division.
Sure.
And we're a big advocate of firearm owners carrying pepper spray as well, too, for those situations that aren't as serious.
Well, you're right.
Why go, again, you're 10,000 times more likely to get into a fist fight than you are a gunfight. So for those less serious situations, why go hands-on and expose your firearm to someone, which can make the situation a lot more serious, when you can diffuse a situation from a safe distance, protect yourself, and protect your firearm. We're big advocates of firearms. We think there's a huge need for less lethal. We just, if you're carrying less lethal, or lethal, I should say, we strongly recommend you know the product and be equipped to use it.
Well, David, my name is Gary Webb. I'm Steve Cates' co-host today, and I have a quick question for you, and also a comment. I carry a firearm, but I also carry pepper spray for those less lethal confrontations. And all those physical confrontations that may occur out there, you're probably going to get hurt. So carrying pepper spray is really another defense you have to prevent that from happening. And many times, as you know, we can't use a firearm at all out there because it's not warranted or justified. So it is good. I did buy my wife one. She doesn't carry a firearm, but she carries the pink Saber OC spray, and I think she's always been concerned about where she needs to be. You know, does she need to be right in his eyes, real close? And I said, no. Maybe you can clarify that for our audience for us.
Yeah, backing up, Gary, I agree with what you said. I mean, some of our most advanced law enforcement instructors that go around the country training officers to use pepper spray, when they're off duty, they carry their firearm and they carry pepper spray. And these are guys that have mastered defensive tactics. I mean, they're great fighters, but they realize that, hey, why do I want to hurt myself? Why do I want to go hands-on? Maybe the guy would have better fighting skills than I have. Why put myself in danger when I can diffuse the situation from a distance? But with regards to how to use the product, your eyes are the most sensitive part of your face, and what you want to take away the person's vision. So the great thing about pepper spray is that even if the subject, the threat, is under the influence of drugs or alcohol, pepper spray, when you get it in their eyes, will cause involuntary eye closure. You cannot keep your eyes open once you get pepper spray in there.
I know. I've been pepper sprayed being a volunteer with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office Posse Special Forces, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm not telling people to intentionally spray themselves so they understand what this is all about, but David, this is a phenomenal subject. And, folks, if you're just joining us right now, a very special interview here. David Nance is Vice President of Security Equipment Company. This is Saber Red. And we're talking about less lethal products. And I think you're right, both Gary and yourself, of course, David, that carrying your firearm, if you choose to, at that high level, it's kind of mimicking, even though you're not, law enforcement officers, they obviously have all these items as we do when we're in a uniform mode, even as posse. QAP, the Qualified Armed Posse, to carry other than the firearm because it's so important. And we're going to come up to a break here in about a minute and a half. But when we come back, I'd like you to go and address something, that there's a civilian safety awareness program. You folks are really walking and, talking the talk and walking it very well, that people can get involved in their areas just to address some of the things that Gary talked about, that there is a whole paradigm here for training. And I think it's so important because if I'm out in a windy day, common sense would tell me if I'm downwind from a blast of pepper spray, I theoretically could be also sprayed. And we're going to get into this conversation when we return. But, David, I appreciate your time, and we're coming up to that break right now. So let's keep in mind we'll have a discussion on the Civilian Safety Awareness Program here on KFNX, News Talk Radio 1100, the undisputed 50,000-watt powerhouse of the Desert Southwest. With all those 50,000 watts in check, I'm sitting here at our command center in downtown Phoenix at KFNX Downtown Studios. And the rest of our Call to Rights team is today, as we said, dedicated to the Crossroads of the West Gun Show, a big event that's happening here in Phoenix. And we'll be there again. We'll be back at the gun show at 2:30 on when we hear Mark Victor speak at 2:30, so there's still time for you to come down to this interesting show. And we'll do something rather revolutionary on this show. For the next caller with a question to our special guest, Mr. Nance, we'll actually give you, courtesy of this company, Security Equipment Corporation, a very well protected and very well to go, good to go product, a sample product from this great company by Sabre. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, after these short but important breaks on KFNX News Talk Radio 1100 on a little show we now call The Call to Rights with Steve Cates. And, David, thanks again for joining us today. So much to talk about in so little time, but I wanted to ask you, talk about the deployment and the training side of your company, that is the Civilian Safety Awareness Program.
Yeah, we launched the Sabre Personal Safety Academy about 2.5 years ago, and one of the programs within that is the Sabre Civilian Safety Awareness Program. We now offer a college safety program, and basically it's the foundation for personal safety. We address some of the fundamentals, the safety mindset, basically a relaxed alertness which discourages potential threats, but also how to protect yourself at a safe distance with pepper spray, and some simple self-defense techniques in case someone is up on you, that allows you to get away from them, get some distance, that you can then use your pepper spray or your firearm, whichever the case may be. But, if you're in a high-stress situation and the first time you're ever trying to determine how to use a pepper spray is in that situation, chances are you're not going to be very effective. So we give you hands-on training in this stress-inoculated environment so you're best prepared to deploy the product properly in that scenario.
Well, I know you're not an attorney, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but help us on this. If you're out there as a civilian, you purchased your pepper spray, obviously, from one of the many great retailers and individual companies that you can find your fine product, and you have to deploy it. Talk to us about interacting with law enforcement. I mean, you're supposed to get out of the situation and get away from the threat, But, I mean, in most particular cases, I mean, give us some advice on what to do beyond that. I mean, some have told me when they have the taser, run like hell, and the other side of the coin is, well, you may want to stand by, obviously, and make sure that attacker, is at least temporarily neutralized. But let me hear from you. What's the next step?
Well, I mean, generally the person's coming at you and you're going to take away their vision, so they're going to go to the point where they last saw you. So we teach to sidestep and move in the opposite direction that your attacker's moving in. So, yeah, we tell you to get the heck out of there. Call the police, give a description, and basically the more information you have, the better off you're going to be. I felt threatened, the attack ensued, and this is why I sprayed, and this is what the person looks like, and very likely if you move right away, you might be able to still find them there.
This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. The oleoresin capsicum, if I've said it right, I hope I have, is one of the principal ingredients. But, folks, if you've not been sprayed with this stuff, let's also talk about this hot environment that we live in here, David, that, you don't recommend these people leaving this canister on the seat of their car in full sunlight, if I'm correct.
Absolutely. I mean, with the greenhouse effect in automobiles in Arizona, gosh, I would imagine it probably exceeds 150 degrees in there. So, no, our products have been tested up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Beyond that, you risk rupturing them. So you do want to take the pepper spray with you when you leave the automobile and not leave it in there.
Let's give a more down-to-earth description. I love, let's say, habanero or hatch chilies from New Mexico. My mom lives in Las Cruces, and I always stop there during season to get the raw ones and bring them back. And, they're the toast of the town because every one of my friends who loves this type of cuisine, whether it be Thai or Mexican food or any type of food that's in the Caribbean, this is a wonderful treat. But when you bite into one of those fresh, wonderful hatch chilies, ouch. Describe the difference in Scovilles. This is a temperature measurement that I understand you're the expert at. If I bite a chili and it's unbearable, how many more times more potent is this pepper spray?
Well, 2 million Scoville heat units is the raw pepper that we use. In some cases, we go up to as much as 5 million, but that's not the end-all overall formula. There's actually a new term, Steve, that most agencies are embracing now, and it's called capsaicinoids. And I think the easiest way for me to describe how hot our product is to compare the capsaicinoid content of Saber Red versus Tabasco sauce. Most people have tried Tabasco sauce.
Sure, love it.
Are one of its competitors, sure. Tabasco sauce measures 0.02 major capsaicinoids.
Oh.
Our Saber Red product measures 1.33 major capsaicinoids.
Ouch.
So this is not something you want to put on your chicken wings.
No, and I know, and I won't bore the audience with my little interaction with pepper spray, but I was always the talker, as I do here on the show. And at our sheriff's office, ancient history, as I stood there and I wouldn't stop talking, I was a little different person then. We all go through our time when we need to be learning our lesson. I actually took the blast in my throat, down my trach. That's horrible, as you can imagine. And then I was asked to be sprayed again, and I can just describe 5 hours of pure hell, because as I was spraying my face with water and whatever antidote that they supposedly say slows it down, I forgot that all the crystals were still in my hair, went home and took a shower, and guess what? I had another repeat of about 3 hours. So this is not for the faint of heart, but it will temporarily, stop the attacker, which is the whole name of the game, correct?
Yeah, they call that situation you just described the pepper spray hangover.
Well, I needed more than a Bloody Mary, my friend, but talking something very interesting with you in the last 5 or so minutes that we have with you. Here's a great myth, and I wanted you, the expert, to qualify this. I'm reading and hearing all over the place, don't use pepper spray. You know what works? It's even better. And they say, and I always had a hard time with this, use wasp spray. Yes. And I wanted you to talk to us about this because you and I talked offline about this, and this isn't a commercial, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a reality. So let me stop talking, and let's bring in the expert.
Well, I'm really glad you gave me an opportunity to address this, Steve. So, I mean, this is the problem with bloggers nowadays is they're so desperate for content, they will produce and put out anything that comes across their desk. But I feel like they do it with good intentions. They get this information, they think, hey, this is great for my viewers, this is great for my audience, I'm going to help them, I'm going to increase their personal safety. The problem is that, and I appreciate that, but the problem is that no one's really taken a step back and said, hey, where did this wasp spray recommendation come from?
Right.
We did some research. We contacted 8 wasp spray manufacturers, and we asked them, do you recommend your product be used in self-defense? Will it stop an attacker? 8 of 8 said, do not use that product in self-defense. Mm-hmm. There's no proof that it actually is effective. So that number one, the biggest problem is no one's ever tested this product on a human. No one knows what this product will do to a human being.
Right.
We know that it will deter a wasp, but we don't know what it will do to a human. That's problem number one. The other thing, the reason why it's cited to be used is they say it's legal to use, and pepper spray is not legal in all 50 states. But the fact is, pepper spray is legal to carry in all 50 states. Very important. And actually, on a wasp spray canister, it states it's a violation of federal law to use in any manner other than to deter a wasp. It's actually a pesticide regulated by the EPA. So, ironically,
yes,
one of the key reasons they say to use it is actually not true. Pepper spray is legal. Wasp spray is not. But most importantly, I think what it all boils down to, do you want a product that's recommended by a blogger where there's no research behind? Mm-hmm. Or do you want a proven product that's being used by 40,000 law enforcement agencies in the United States?
Absolutely, and you make good sense of it. And I hate to cut you short on this, but let's try to squeeze in a call here because the callers rule on this particular show always. Let's go to Kurt in Tempe. Good afternoon, Kurt. You're on with David Nance. How are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm a little curious, and please repeat what the effective range is of the spray.
We make several different sizes, but even our smallest, most compact half-ounce canister has a range of 10 feet. Our larger size canisters, the professional models and the bear sprays, those will go up to 35 feet.
Okay, I'm looking for fits in my front pocket with my keyring and so forth. And so that's a 10 feet thing?
Yes, sir.
And you know what, Kurt, I hate to cut you short, but as we hit the bottom of the hour here, you have a choice. You're the winner of either one of the prizes. I'll leave it to you to tell us off air or tell our producer, Jennifer. We will give you the type that we're describing here with David. And I do appreciate your time today to call in on the show. Sorry for the shortness, gentlemen, of both of these particular times on air. But in conclusion, I just want to make sure, if, Kurt, you just check back with our producer if she does not have all your contact info. Tell us, of course, which of the two gifts you would like. But going back, David, in the last minute or so, just give us a wrap-up. And I want to have you back here because I'll share with the audience some of the things that I would like to do. And finally, I just want to mention that all of the OC spray, it's very important. Law enforcement knows this. Years ago, there might have been a condition where some of this was flammable when they would tase, and you'd see the perpetrator go up in fire. But the truth of the matter is, yours is totally non-flammable. And give us a quick 1-minute summation, and we'll have you back, sir. Thank you.
With regards to the non-flammability status?
No. Just on the whole product line. I mean, just tell us again the necessity for having pepper spray as an alternative to deadly force. Just give us a quick one.
I think to your audience, number one, thank you, Steve, for having me on. And our website, again, is saberred.com, and that's SABRERED.com, so it's spelled a little bit differently. But you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your family to have a personal safety plan. I mean, most people have a spare tire, they have a smoke detector, but the reality is in the United States, you're 5 times more likely to be murdered than you are to die in a house fire. So have a safety plan for yourself, a personal safety plan for your family. Pepper spray is a great product that allows you to protect yourself and your family at a safe distance in those non-lethal situations.
Thank you, David Nance. We'll have you back. More with DB Kidd when we come back here on A Call to Rise.